Last week we waffled about transport. This week, God knows what's going to happen. Hello, welcome along. It's Tuesday night. My name's Adam D. It is just before 8 PM in the UK, and you are watching oNiD Racing's RacingStronger.com GT4 Series live from Barcelona. And I can't promise that that is the last awful Spanish accent to occur tonight. Especially as I am joined once again by last weekend's partner of carnage, Mr. Hydronox. Hello, sir.
Hello, hello. We've got a hot track with some hot takes.
And some hot commentators. Yeah. No?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Although, hopefully not as hot as your vegetable soup was earlier, right?
Yes, hopefully not that hot. That was, surface of the sun, Icarus flying too close, wax wings falling apart. Hopefully these, the lads will, have gotten to grips with the moderately nice summer's day over in Barcelona at the moment. I've heard some fun old musings in the practice session about, finding braking zones into turn one, perhaps, or trying to get a good exit out of the last corner. So it's looking like these GT4s are shaping up to make a nice old evening of racing for us this evening.
I'm trying to remember where we were last week. Was it Alton Park?
I would like to say yes.
I would like to agree with you. I think it was.
It was because all the transport and the.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Now, in terms of two tracks side by side, they couldn't be any more different. I mean, Barcelona is wide and open and
has a straight,
and he's quite long and doesn't go up and down as much. They couldn't be any more different, really, could they?
Yeah, you're right. I guess you see why they use Catalonia as the test track for the Formula One. Like, it's just got a bit of everything, and it's got it in good doses. And hopefully, it's got plenty of good on-track racing for us.
Oh, of that we are assured, because this is the GT4 series at oNiD, and there is always good racing, which is why this is my, don't tell anyone else, but this is my favourite stream of the week. And I get to share it with you, which is great, and we get to watch somebody in a Camaro spinning out of their pit box and then stuffing it into the wall. Did you catch that as well?
I did, and I'm trying to work out if he's still there or if he's just like if he's actually hidden behind that the kind of what would you call those vantage boxes?
Well, that's probably like the it's like a steward's podium type thing. I'd love to work out who it is.
He's just returned. He's just returned to the garage. Whoever it was.
That's a shame. I was trying to work out who it was, but yeah, never mind. Meanwhile, these guys are just sort of towards the end of their free practice session. We've kind of started a little bit early tonight because we want to make sure that we are super ready for qualifying that comes up next. I'm just going to jump into the chat there, Mr. Knox, because we've got quite a few people there already. Heike van der Veen in there straight away. But when I replied, he thought that I was Johnny. And there are no greater offences in the world than being confused with Johnny, right?
Yeah, I can think of maybe one or two more, but for Twitch's terms of services, I'm not going to list those here.
No.
But it does run for a hot second or third, being compared to Johnny.
Indeed it does. Steve Bain dropping in some 90s acid right there with Big Fish, Little Fish cardboard box. Love it. And Bo Lambert's in. Bo, hello sir, welcome along. Bo's had a hard day at work, and then everything happened on Discord. Yes, it did, Bo. Unfortunately, poor old Bo got himself hacked on Discord. So it gave us all a bit of a fright this morning with some of the messages we received, but hopefully you've got it all sorted out now and everything's all good. Ryan Davies in chat as well, which for some reason says it's first time chat. That can't be right. That can't be right, but welcome along, Ryan. Anyway, Mr. Dendy is here as well. Cuddles Nuffles with a first time chat as well, saying, "Go, Hammy, go." So there we go. And DRS Sim Racing saying, "Evening all, my livery is on tonight. Woohoo!" You'll have to remind me, DRS Sim Racing, who you are in the thing, so I can check your livery out. Oh, there. I see it. I see the one that says DRS down the side. It must be you. And Ryan just confirming that he had to make a new account to watch on my phone as I couldn't remember the password. That sounds like a Ryan Davies sort of thing. Johnny Sev is here as well. Evening, Mr. Seville, and Sam Roughton as well. So, like I said, tons of people in the chat already ready to keep us company, Hydra.
Yeah, great to see. I always love some of the comments coming in. I see a train of ois, which I like to look at as being a little stick man waving his arm up in the air, similar to like an 07 with that salute. But the oi does make a good old like greeting in multiple senses.
Oh yes, gotta love an oi oi oi. Yeah, look, so Barcelona tonight. Are you a fan of this track yourself personally for a bit of a drive around?
I am, and I think it's a really cool one to race. GT4s especially, but even the GT3s as well. I feel like the first sector, like there's just like all these great pockets for like where action could occur. Like, you know, lap one, you're going to have, you know, obviously a great run down into turn one. But even some of those fights can linger 2 or 3 corners as you like, you know, into the middle of the circuit. But even the last section, it's kind of like, you know, it's like a short reprieve as everyone just kind of filters through the long right-hander and then going down into the last chicane just before you come onto that onto the main straight again. So there's lots of like little pockets. There's also the back straight down into the hairpin. I love it. I think it's cool. I think it's definitely one of those tracks that really can punish you if you're kind of like zoning out and like not keeping an eye on your lines, as we see Yuval Sharon taking that like very tight left-hander. Like I find that middle section, it can be deceptively tricky, especially this kind of section here going up the hill. It can be so easy to run wide into the gravel. That's probably where you're going to see most of the track cuts, I would imagine. Just like some eager beavers just trying to gain as much speed going up the hill as possible. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan. What about yourself?
Yeah, I like it. It's weirdly, I don't like it in the Formula One. I never get excited about the Spanish Grand Prix, but for driving in a GT car on ACC, I absolutely love it. However, the sooner they get rid of this, the better. I mean, that chicane is just horrendous. Get rid of it. Get back to the old flowing final section, and we will all be happy. Sorry, I just paused momentarily because, first of all, Matt Holman's here. Good evening, sir. Hope everyone has a great race, he says. I'm sure they will. But, okay, Hydra, are you ready? Here it comes.
Oh, I'm getting I have to get the trumpets.
Princess JT is here, everyone, in the chat, and she says she had an awful day. So she's on the sim, drinking wine and watching the stream. That sounds like a good way to flush away a bad day. You are in the right place, JT. Welcome along for the evening. Did I do better this week, Hydra, do you think?
You did, except that your assertion that her day is only going to get better watching the stream is highly misguided.
Indeed. Talking of misguided, here's Johnny Ashley on stream. Sorry, Johnny. We love you, really. He's just starting his first flying lap. Now, the other thing to watch for tonight is, and I know you're a console man, so you won't have had this yet, but there was an update to ACC last week, primarily to launch the new DLC, and there were some bop changes to a couple of GT3 cars, but also in there was a little line that said, oh, and some changes to the GT4 tyre model. And we haven't really had anything that's really thrashed out what the difference is yet. But a lot of conversation in Discord over the weekend has suggested that these things are even more understeery than before. Now, if that's the case, I wonder whether the Mercedes that Johnny is driving is going to return back to the understeery monster that it used to be. But also look out for the BMWs and whether they improve a little bit this week. But that could make things a little bit mixed up this week.
Yeah, I think I'd seen Aris, one of those Kunos. I think he's like a physics programmer for Kunos. He streams a bunch, and I think he was saying that like the tire models should be kind of a bit more realistic, or kind of. I think they previously for GT4s weren't quite as accurate as they should have been. So I think this update is supposed to kind of address that. But yeah, no, I mean. I'd be curious to see, I mean, as we see Johnny kind of running slightly wider at the exit there, maybe that's a sign of understeering, who could say, but I don't know, I'm a fan of understeering setups anyway.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
I like to just, yeah, like I think running, or like, you know, getting the turn in, especially with a few of the corners on this track, you just kind of just use the throttle to kind of kick in a bit of oversteer to kind of point you around. But yeah, no, I think I like the safety of understeering as opposed to the wild, chaotic nature of an oversteer setup.
Yeah, I'm 100% the same. I can't cope with something that wants to spit itself into the gravel trap every 2 minutes. Although having said that, we had a bit of a bash on AMS2 last night and drove the 2022 stock cars, which are basically like Brazilian touring cars. And they are amazing, but for some reason I was a bit loads quicker than everyone last night, and that just wanted to spit you off into the wall. So there we go. Maybe I don't mind a bit of a slidey beast from time to time. Anyway, we're watching Joseph Koifel here because he is 1 second up on his best at the moment. That could leap him from 12th as far as maybe even 5th. Let's see as he comes to cross the line. And he goes 7th.
I will point out for the viewers at home that you did make a comparison to wanting a slidey beast as you went and observed the car with the snakeskin livery. Very apt.
Yeah, it was all planned and on purpose, promise.
Now, are we going to have a Will Dindy double trouble night tonight, do you think?
Well, at the moment, he's not on pole, but he's flashing purple and he's 3/10 up on this current lap, so...
I will say I might have forgotten that we were already in qualifying. I thought we were still watching practice.
No, we are definitely in qualifying. 7 minutes 50 seconds left to go. And at the moment it's Yuval Sharon from Will Dendy, Ash Knight, Stephen Bain in 4th? What? Stephen Bain in 4th, Anthony Richards in 6th, because Johnny Seville has just gone top. Look, wow, what a lap that is.
That was a cracker of a lap. I will note for Steve Bain, you can't get a drive-through in qualifying, so that explains why he's, you know, as high up as he is. Also of note, I think for this session, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just everyone's gone out at the same time?
Yes.
15 minutes only? Yeah.
Yes. In fact, I seem to remember Willie muttering to himself in the background last night that he was going to open it up to everyone qualifying at the same time tonight because it's a much bigger, wider, more open track. So therefore, get out on the track and do your thing. So that's why we're seeing everyone on track at the same time. Johnny's a couple of tenths up on this lap, so you never know, he might pop himself up into 9th or maybe even 8th if he can find a little bit more through the final sector. So let's keep an eye on him. We've got a couple of other people improving as well.
Yeah, we're just going to quickly brush on past the point of how you would have been able to hear Willie speaking and muttering in his own home. So yeah, what's Johnny up to?
Yeah, there was a phrase last night that I just said, please never say that again. And it was, it involved the word Willie. And then something else as well. It'll come to me. And don't take anything from that either. Gudici about to come across the line and go 16th. A little squeeze more and he could have been 13th or even 12th. Look how close that is. Right there in the midfield. And we've got really good turnout tonight as well. 32 drivers in this one. Promises for some real action on track tonight.
It's a spicy meatball.
That's the wrong country.
Hey, you can have Italians racing in Spain.
You can, yes.
Is Gudici not Italian?
Oh, it could be. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, probably.
It could be like the Daniel Ricciardo situation. It's Italian by proximity, and there's some heritage there.
Sounds like a Jimbo Mansi to me as well. Hey. Anyway, so I'm just I'm also keeping my eyes on Westminster as well as 2 further private secretaries resign as well. So it's all going a bit Pete Tong in London right now. It's always interesting to have that going on in the background. Meanwhile, Ben Holmes on track in the Audi. He is 0.3 of a second up on this current lap. 15th at the moment, just a squeeze behind our man Johnny Ash. Hiker also confirming that that Gudici is indeed Italian. So you were right.
Phew.
Good.
That is money I will not lose on a bet.
No. No, indeed. I was just going to check. Yes, our featured driver tonight is here already. So we'll speak to him in just a moment. Let's just see how he's getting on. So Ben Brown is our featured driver tonight, running an absolute peach of a livery on that AMG. It's a RacingStronger.com livery, and Ben is currently sitting in 7th. How's it going, Ben?
I'm struggling. See, I heard you talking about the GT4 tyre changes and the Mercs just buckets of understeer.
Is it back to the old Merc style?
Yeah, I think it's worse than that. And so, yeah, I've spent practice basically just taking wing off to try and get it to turn in. I'm currently running one wing.
The one wang strat. Yes. Well,
is that the rear wing that we see on the car there? Is it?
Yeah, well, you might as well not have one, I think, if you've got one wing. It's quick down the straights anyway.
Yes, Hydra, he is only running one wing. Yes, not multiple wings. Yes, very good. As Ben pops himself up into 6th. Ben, we'll check back in with you after qualifying because we'll let you go concentrate on the rest of the session. But Ben will be our featured driver through the night. Now, a situation where Will Dendy is half a second off the pace would suggest that Johnny Seville has found something pretty special in that Alpine. The Pulse Boys all of a sudden running the Alpine and going very, very quick in it. So they must have done something to unlock the pace of the French machine. But Johnny Seville is out front and actually improving this time around. And so maybe we're not in for a Will Dendy double.
Yeah, it's looking like a fantastic lap so far. I mean, Yuval Sharon is sitting there in third place as well. Do we just have just the one Sharon this evening?
I think we are one Sharon short of a full load again this week, yes.
I see.
We are yet to see a representative lap from Miles Dixon, by the way, who is directly behind Johnny Seville. So let's pick up on Miles, because he is in the process of setting his first timed lap. And you would expect Miles to be up near the front as well, in the fellow Alpine Pulse car. There's seemingly a helicopter gets very close to my house. It's gone very loud out there all of a sudden.
That's the police. If they start calling your name, you run away. You run away.
Yes, indeed. Please come out of the shed.
Put the rig down.
Jesus, I can't pick the rig up. Miles goes 8th, by the way. So not maybe as far up as I would have expected, but maybe he was just putting a banker in because he hadn't got a lap in at that point. So worth doing. Dendy has got a 10th closer to Johnny than he was before. Ash Knight is a couple of tenths up on this lap as well. But your current top 10 is Seville, Dendy, Sharon, Knight, Bain, Brown, Richards, Dixon, Shipper and Hearn. In the AM class, it's Fairweather from Mazan, Ben P, Lintz, Black, Law, Sherlock and Jackson. Willie Black down in 20th.
A few seconds left in qualifying. We're going to have our last runs coming through.
They certainly are. And
checkered flag.
There's plenty of green on the board right now. So Ash Knight is 3 tenths up. Anthony Richards is 4 tenths up. Yuval Sharon is a 10th up. Shipper's 2 tenths up. We've got Jackson is 4 tenths up. Bruce is 4 tenths up. Oh, just invalidated it, sorry. But yeah, so we've got some movements here. And in fact, Ash Knight with the biggest movement. He's now 6 tenths up. Let's hope he doesn't get held up by Ben P through this final sector. No, P pulls off, so to speak. And Knight comes out the final corner. Dropped a couple of tenths through that final sector, but goes 3rd. And pretty close to Will Dendy as well. So it's a good lap. Yuval Sharon down to 4th, but a 10th of a second up. As he comes towards the end of this lap. So as always, the laps coming in thick and fast towards the end of the session, and Sharon could be a mover here. He's a 10th up, coming through the final corner.
Seville puts in his last lap, not going any quicker.
Oh, and Sharon does go mildly faster, but look how close 2nd, 3rd and 4th are. That's really, really tight. We've got some really tight battles all the way through the field. It looks to me like that is pretty much all she wrote in terms of qualifying, because the only 2 left on a lap are this man here, Jovan Kovacic. Good to see you back, Mr. Thunder. He is 1.5 seconds down on his own best. Graham Jackson has just finished his lap and did not improve. So that, I think, is your qualifying done and dusted.
Yeah, and great performance from the Alpine. Where did Dixon finish in the end?
He qualified 9th in the end. So let's watch for Miles Dixon coming through the pack a little bit as we get going.
Yeah, I've not a prediction. Well, I've a question for you, Adam. In terms of predictions, how many Porsches will we see on the top 3 spots?
Ooh.
This avoids the issue of who those Porsches will be driven by, but also kind of.
I'm going to say 1.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. What about you?
I would. I don't know. It's hard not to just go for 2.
I'll go for 2 then.
I just might.
Yeah. Very good. Right, so we are sort of getting ready for these guys to... Sorry, I was just mildly distracted by a message coming in. It's really highly professional of me, that. But, in life, sometimes you just get a little bit distracted by something, but I'm fully focused now. With just over a minute...
police, you have to answer them, Adam. If it's the police...
I told you, come out of the shed with your arms in the air. Yes, indeed. Stevie Baines in chat saying he's got a can of Iron Brew tonight. Must be why I'm out of position. All the strength from the iron. North Swed, old Fred, is in the chat saying, Seville, Bish, let it be known. I'm not entirely sure I know what that means, but okay, good, let it be known. And and Dendy says Adam has been swatted. Yes, the SWAT team are here. Actually, do you know what, a helicopter round here normally means it's Lord Bamford just arriving at JCB.
or it could mean that Princess Shady is, paid a visit.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, she is Princess, so you'd expect the helicopter. Before we get started, Ben, very quickly, because I know it's only a short formation lap, pleased with qualifying. What do you think you can do from here?
Go backwards. I'm very pleased with my qualifying lap, so I can see this only going one way.
Good. Right, well, they are off on their short formation. So you see some of the guys just setting off in rather different ways from each other, just trying to find a way to get a little bit of temps into their brakes and tyres to a certain extent as well, but always difficult to get away from those trees as we see Johnny Seville bring them round. Very quickly, Hydra, who's going to win?
Oh, I'm going to say Seville. His pace just looked so strong.
Okay, in which case I go for Dendy. Let's see what happens. We are green light. Graham Jackson picks up a drive-through for being out of position at race start. Johnny Seville was a bit slow off the line as well, and Dendy is in front, but look at Ash Knight coming around the outside of all two of them. I can't count. But can't quite get past Dendy. But we have got Porsches 1 and 2 right now. Chiron trying to make it a 1, 2, 3, but Seville still in the mix there in the Alpine, trying to find a way back past Ash Knight. Seville up the inside then. You see Yuval Chiron running out wide, and will now switch to the inside to try and make it 3 wide into turn 4. Can't quite get it done, but Chiron does get up the inside. Back up into second. Not Chiron, sorry, Seville. But you do see Chiron now side by side with Ash Knight. A small bump there. Steve Bain in the Iron Brew liveried Ginetta tried to find a way through, but actually in the end loses a position to Richards. And I think things will just start to settle down now. But Dendy with a great start there, Hydra.
Yeah, it looks like we had a yellow flag just coming into turn 5, just before the entrance to it, which is a bit strange. Normally you'd expect it. Where we saw the bump there between Chiron and Seville, or it was Knight, I think. A few drive-throughs down the grid as well, so a bit of action going to unfold.
Indeed, yeah, and Willie Black well out of position, so I wonder whether he was one of the issues that brought out the yellow flags. But we've got Dendy in the lead from Johnny Seville, and Seville catching him right up, right at the end of this first lap. So battle is on already. Ben P leads the AM class. Jackson is second, but ignore that because he has a drive-through penalty to serve. Sherlock up to third, and then Law, Lazewski and Lintz. So all to play for in both classes. But that Porsche just gets away down the straight.
Yeah, just seems to fly away. Just perhaps some tactics to try and break the toe, but it looks like Seville is right up on the behind of one Will Dendy as we go through to turn 4. The pace in those guys is just ridiculous.
It certainly is, and they've got away from the rest of the pack very quickly here. as you see Ash Knight in the background just running out wide, so we'll keep an eye on that battle as well. But this is the battle of the moment, because this is all about the race lead. 22 minutes left. 2 25-minute sprint races tonight around Barcelona. This is the RacingStronger.com oNiD GT4 League with me, Adam D, and the other one, Mr. Hydronox. I don't know why I just called you the other one, but there you go.
I'm the other Adam D.
You're the other one, yes. But Will Dendy managing to hold on to this lead at the moment. Meanwhile, Miles Dixon hasn't made a huge amount of progress, but it is side by side with Ben Brown coming into the chicane. So Miles actually sat in 9th right now with D Hearn right behind as well. So I think Ben having to make that Merc as wide as possible as Dixon goes up the inside, hits Brown and then spins in the process as well. So Dixon's night not getting any easier at the moment, but he's still there or thereabouts. Now up the inside of McNichol, trying to find a way past the Camaro. I think that's the Camaro that found its way into the pit wall earlier, isn't it?
I believe so. I don't think there's too many Camaros on the grid tonight. Oh wow, yeah, as the two of them race down the straight, fairly even in terms of top line speed. So we have a car coming slow out of the pits.
Yeah, I believe that's a lapped car, just coming out of the pits, probably picked up some damage early doors. So McNichol loses that position to Dixon, and now here comes Koifel looking for a way past. We've got a yellow flag. It's for Ben Holmes. Let's go see if we can pick up what happened to Ben in his Audi. It's going to be down in towards turn 1. He's got Gudici directly behind him. There is that slow-moving Aston Martin coming out of the pits. But Gudici to the inside. Holmes turns in. All okay there. Is it going to be here? Yes, that's where it is. It's turn 2. 2 into 1. Don't go, Hydra.
Yes, it's all about the mathematics this evening, as we calculate who is operating that camera shot.
They've had one too many sangrias.
As one might when the weather is that good over in Spain. Yeah, having a look in chat, we have Amy Sloopy, or dare I say, Amy's Loopy.
Yes! That makes more sense. So last week, you thought it was Sloopy because that helped out your desire to get more transport-related names, but Amy's Loopy makes more sense, doesn't it?
It does. It makes far more sense, but then again, saying good luck Richards, and we also have Cuddles Knuffles saying hope Hammy can make her way up the field as they didn't have a great quali.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's Hamish Eisner that they're talking about. And yeah, so we'll go and find out how they're getting on in just a moment. We just saw Seville going for a move to the outside. But meanwhile, Ben Brown, I just saw, is trying to get past Stevie Bain. He's got Michelle Schipper directly behind him. And then Hearn directly behind Schipper as well. So Ben just trying to find a way past the Scotsman now. It's Scotland versus England. What does Ireland think?
I think Ben Brown is desperate for a can of that Iron Brew to help him manage that Merc. Ben is a thirsty boy. We all know this.
The less said about that, the better, I think. But we've got a bit of a... Oh, here it comes again. This is how the transport started last week. We've got a bit of a train forming.
All aboard!
Oh dear, here we go again. Yes, Bain from Brown then, and then Schipper and Hearn. Two little duos going in towards... Whoa! As we see Schipper almost wipe Ben out. Ben, the trousers are brown
trousers.
Now. Yes.
Oh my god. I don't know what happened there.
Oh, wow.
Oh dear.
I think Hearn was reminiscing of the Formula 1 changes to that track.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, they were taking the F1 track Hopefully they update some of these tracks in ACC pretty soon. But ETR Jet Plane is also cheering on A. Richards as well. So let's go check on how Richards is getting on, seeing as there's the Richards fan club in here. Well, Anthony is sat 5th right now. And sort of just on the back of Yuval Sharon as well. So there or thereabouts should anything happen in front. But let's just switch back because Bain and Brown getting feisty through turns 1, 2 and 3. Hearn also taking a look at Brown as well. So this is the battle for the ages tonight, isn't it, Hydra?
Yeah, I mean, dare I say, Seville being 0.16 seconds behind Will Dendy, also a great battle, but geez, I think that's just a testament to what we have in GT4 on this league with the just battles all over the place. Like, you know, you as you look down through the list, even the timing boards down in 19th place, we have a battle with Hiker Van der Reen for 18th.
Yeah, we do. There are battles all over the field, and you can see that Bain, Brown, Hearn, Dixon shipper train is just building. More and more wagons are being added to that train, but nothing is as close as the battle for the lead right now, as Seville almost nudges Dendy around the corner to try and get him to go a little bit faster. Seville seems to have a bit of pace at the moment, but Dendy's going to have to fight this one if he wants a chance to win this race. He's going to have to defend for his life. The good thing for Dendy is that Porsche does seem a bit quicker in a straight line, and a few weaves and bobs to try and break the toe, as you pointed out earlier, Hydra.
Yeah, I've just been blindsided by the addition to the transportation train that was the wagon that we didn't have last week.
Ah, indeed, yeah. Well, you know, you've got to extend it with a wagon because it's some kind of freight train. It's not a passenger train. I've made that decision.
You said it was freight, was it?
Yes, yeah, it's definitely a freight train. Yeah.
What's another word for freight?
Cargo?
There you go. Cars go quickly around Barcelona, don't they?
Oh my good lord! Oh dear. Meanwhile, there is a battle going on track, and that is Dendy and Seville. Seville has the fastest lap, by the way, with a 153.7. Dendy's best is a 154.1. So there's no doubting that Johnny Seville has got the pace at the moment. But if you can't get past, then the pace is no good. So how long before the moves start to come flying in and things get a little bit more desperate for Seville?
Fantastic development. Yeah, it's always the push and pull. You know, I mean, I'm one of those drivers who just loves following a car, and then as soon as you put me in front, as soon as I make that overtake, is when I start choking, and then like lap times start going far away. So I would imagine Seville has a bit of a clearer mind than myself. So maybe he's just kind of laying and waiting. Because what we did see at Imola was Dendy running wide the odd time, and kind of losing some track time that way. So kind of making the move kind of present itself that bit easier.
And here comes the wiggly worm right now, because Dendy just trying to break that toe.
That is not a method of transport, Adam, okay? I'm not putting that on the list.
Well, you could, I mean, if you were small enough, you could get on a worm and... Yeah, never mind. Thanks
or if the worm was large enough.
Well, yeah. Depends how you see life, really, isn't it? Thanks, SGR Amber, for the follow, by the way, and the first-time chat as well. Cheering on McNichol. Doing it for the scrubs. So does that mean McNichol works in some kind of hospital environment, or are you saying that they're a scrubber? I don't know. Please confirm.
I'm not sure if that's a bit, or if you're not aware, like, scrub is another word for, like, noob.
I thought it was something else. Anyway.
Showing his age, it's alright.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with the scrub club. I mean, he's 12th in the pro class. I mean, that's sweaty territory, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Ben, you've got past Bain. How did you do that?
You just made a little mistake, as I've just made a mistake. You made a little mistake out on the chicane at the end. The hellish chicane that nobody likes.
The chicane
And
of
managed to get
vileness.
past. But he's really, really quick through the middle sector, so...
What's the Bob Ross kind of school of thought there? It's like, it's not mistakes, it's just happy little accidents.
Well, Bane's trying to make a happy little move around the outside. But Ben says no, but Bane's got to be careful of that pulse car of Miles Dixon trying to come up the inside of him. So Dixon has managed to dispatch with Hearn and Shipper, and he's starting to make some progress now. We are keeping an eye on the gap out front as well. 3/10 it is right now as Bane runs deep. So Dixon passed Bane. Bane has now got Shipper right up his chuff. And there's one to tick off the box if you're playing the oNiD bingo. And if you're not, head to onidracing.com/bingo or type !bingo in chat to get ticking off the boxes. But Shipper up the inside of Bane. And now here comes Hearn as well as they head down into turn 1. Hearn might just get that done, or is Bane going to hold on around the outside? We're about to find out. They go side by side through turn 2. And Hearn has gone. Hearn into the gravel, manages to recover it pretty well, and it looks to me like, so Bane has now decided to wait for Hearn. I think that's polite. It looked to me like 6 of one, half dozen of another, but yeah, fair play.
Yeah, it's always good to see, especially when there's like, if there's maybe Steve just feels like it was maybe racing just a bit too hard. But like you say, 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Of course, the other that we're talking about is cans of Iron Brew, so very apt for the driver there.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Hydra, for doing the ! bingo in chat. So you can all click that link now and tick things off the oNiD stream bingo card. As we go along. I have already said chuff, so that one's off the list. Meanwhile, Bane trying to find a way back past Hearn, whilst keeping an eye on Koifel and McNichol directly behind. Out front, gap has actually extended to 4/10. Although it looks a little bit less than 4/10 to me. No, it's still 4/10.
I think that is you've stretched the meaning of the word extended quite a bit there. we're talking like still half a second behind, but yeah, no, like there's very little separating these two. So far, my prediction of 2 Porsches on the podium is holding true, which means that now that I've spoken it into existence, I can only spell doom and disaster for that.
Indeed it can. So just interestingly looking at the lap times, so Dendy did, as we see how close they get through T5, but Dendy did a 54.2 last time around, Seville with a 54.3, so yeah, that's what I mean by extending. He's extended it by a full 1/10 of a second on the last lap.
Every little counts.
Indeed. Dendy pushing on. Trying to keep hold of this position. Let's go check in on Bane and McNichol and Koifel and all that kind of stuff.
Hold on, I haven't slapped the change in my arse pocket yet.
Oh, it's the wrong supermarket, but okay.
No. we don't have Asda's over here, okay?
No, you have got Tesco though, haven't you?
We do.
Yes.
We do. And the Aldi and Lidl's and all those fun ones.
And you have the deals as well, because
Oh, is that a British chain too?
No, that's Poundland over here. But as we see Miles Dixon get up the inside of Ben. Ben, did you just get a little bit squirrely out on the sausage?
I've been defending for a lap like my life depended on it because he's so much quicker. So.
Oh no!
That wasn't a surprise.
Oh no! Ash Knight with a drive-through. So Ben, you lost the position, but you'll gain it back again. Because Ash Knight in 4th with the drive-through. So yeah, that's an awkward situation to find yourself in there. But yeah, just going back to the important point of the day, Deals is the same as Poundland over here, but I guess they couldn't call it Poundland in Ireland.
Yeah, there's. I feel like, well, yes, because when you don't use the pound, and pound is a verb you could use to describe beating someone, I think Poundland has very different connotations over here.
Yes, indeed, indeed, indeed. So, deals made
Now,
more sense, but why they felt the need to slap a Z on the end of it, I don't know.
I think it's because they can't advertise that. I don't think they actually can have deals.
And
Now,
I believe that you guys are getting the B&Ms over there as well now.
excuse me?
Maybe just in Dublin.
I don't know what a B&M is.
Oh, it's a place of it's like a dirty deals. Just imagine going to a deals store, but it's a bit dirtier and the stock's a bit older. That's B&Ms.
Now, keep in mind, I would consider the stock in deals to be rather dirty anyway.
Yep. Yeah, I'm fully aware. Yep.
Speaking of Poundland, we have Seville going right up the arse of Will Dendy.
Oh, they are side by side into the chicane, but Seville just has to tuck back in behind, and Dendy will just get away a little bit down the straight. So, where's Seville's best opportunity going to be in that Alpine, do you reckon?
Oh, I don't think the Alpine is the problem. I think it's that Porsche in front of him, and I have no idea where he could chuck it in. Will Dendy just so good at positioning that car. I think, like, honestly, I would imagine Seville's best chance will come from a mistake that Dendy will make. Could make. Other than that, yeah, no, I think it would take some kind of bravery and, a decent chuck down the inside, perhaps. But where that'll happen, who could say?
Yeah,
you could say, Adam. Where is it?
Feels to me like he's probably going to have to get it done in the middle sector, because that Porsche's quick in a straight line. He's going to have to find somewhere to get up the inside of Dendy, where the Alpine is faster. But as he gets very sideways, but you could see the front wheels twitching and sliding. So he was trying to keep that under control and has done so, and hasn't lost a huge amount of time at all. So fair play to Johnny Seville, but that's not going to help his cause, is it?
No, but I mean, it's what you're saying. Like, I mean, the Porsche is just so quick in a line that kind of like that was kind of probably the worst place he could have had that hiccup, because he's just going to lose all that time down the straight. But even then, he's only like about 6/10 back. Indeed,
he is. Now, here's a sight that we're very used to seeing. Ben, you know how hard you work on Johnny's liveries?
How many dents are in it?
Oh, it's just a dent. The whole thing. Most of the livery has been rubbed off.
It fits the NASCAR theme then.
Yes, it does. Knight didn't take his drive-through and has now been disqualified. So those of you in chat that are cheering on Knight, I'm sorry, he's been disqualified from this one because he didn't take his drive-through. But Johnny Ash has been in the wars and has now got Holmes right behind him as well. That one's for positioning class, because Holmes has also had a tricky day. As we lose Ash Knight back to the pits. Let's check back out front. Gap is 6/10 now. I mean, it's a chasm now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm surprised they can even fit the two cars in the same camera shot.
Yeah.
But I mean, as we see, it's slowly kind of, well, actually, it's remaining fairly static as we go through this section, because the times don't update quite as often as I think. But very little separating those two. But there's only 2 minutes left, so you would think that maybe the best chance for Seville has eluded him already, but there's still plenty of time for mistakes on either side of that battle.
Indeed, checking in with your fellow Irishman, because Didier Reuters in 17th has got Willie Black all over his chuff. in that lovely Irish-themed Ginetta that has got the Lucky Charms on it this week as well. I don't know if that was offensive to you, Hydra, or that was okay.
Oh, no, not at all.
Very good. They're also right up the back of Tony Law now as well. So 3 cars all together here for 16th place. So we'll keep an eye on this one. But obviously we are keeping an eye on the battle out front. And in fact, the gap has shrunk to 0.3 of a second. In fact, 0.2 as they cross the line. So Seville doing a final push for this. SGR Amber in chat, by the way, saying best chance is to take the old F1 track and skip the chicane in that thing. Indeed, yes. He's going to have to try something a little bit different to get past Dendy. Interesting that Will Dendy, who drives a McLaren GT4 in real life, is not driving a McLaren GT4.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Did I just catch you eating something?
Yeah, I'm eating some of Tesco's finest roasted mixed nuts because, you know, I'm mad about those nuts. Please don't clip that.
That's being clipped, yes, absolutely. Yeah, Dendy holding on from Seville. We've got a minute left. I think they will just make it back to the line to start one more lap. So this may not be all she wrote. We may have one more lap after this one, but we'll find out in about 45 seconds time. Your top 10 is Dendy, Seville, Chiron, Richards, Dixon, Brown, Hearn, Koifel, Bain and Schipper. And your top few positions in AM are Ben P, Sherlock, Lazewski, Reuters, Law, Black, Van der Veen and Mazan. So are they going to make it to the line or not? Maybe not.
They'd be cutting it close. I think they should be okay.
Yeah, well, Dendy will probably be quite happy if they don't make it. But yeah, I think they are going to make it across the line. 10 seconds left to go. So, yes, they do cross the line and start the final lap here. So, Will Dendy trying to hold on from Johnny Seville on this final lap. Question for you then, Hydra, is will Seville send it at some point this lap?
Oh, I think he will. Another point that I was just thinking there, with the timer just reaching 0, I wonder if he'll see anyone just about running out of fuel at some point, because they've pretty much squeezed the maximum race distance out of this race.
That's a really good point. Yeah, Ben, how are you doing on fuel?
I've massively overfueled. I've still got 12 litres in it.
Good man.
So I won't be that person. I'll be the one pushing people across the line for them, I think.
Yeah, Ben wanted to run the 2 races at the same time.
Yeah.
Seville into the back of Dendy. Little nudge there. Now gets alongside as they come towards the middle sector of the lap. Dendy moves over to block it. Seville up the inside does send it. There's more contact. They go side by side through the left-right kink and up the hill. Dendy retakes the lead then, but that all started with a Seville tap from the rear down the hill. That was pretty punchy from the pair of them, Hydra.
Yeah, it was almost as if you had predicted such a thing happening. Yeah, that was very racy.
Dendy's locked up. Dendy's locked up. Run deep. Seville up the inside. Dendy will now try and hang it round the outside and up the inside into the next corner. Gets sideways. Gives Seville a tap. Seville pushed out wide. And Dendy holds on to that one, but I'm sure Johnny Seville will not be impressed with the slide and tap that he got there. But it looks to me like Will Dendy is going to take this win then. It might be question marks over it afterwards, but all's fair in hard racing. Possibly. We'll have a look at it later on. But Dendy then takes the win. In fact, let's see if we can go back and just catch it. Hydra. So just talk us through what we see, because into the hairpin in just a moment we'll see Dendy lock up and then Seville try and find his way through.
Yeah, and so that was kind of the impetus for the move, as we see. Didn't even really lock up. He just kind of got a kind of sluggish exit there. Now we see Dendy does take a lot of the inside curb, and he kind of ends up doing what the AlphaTauris did over the weekend, where he just kind of loses a bit of the rear and skids outwards, and then kind of happened to find the Alpine, and there was a gentle flashing of the lights, as opposed to a not so gentle flashing of the lights.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Ben P, by the way, has taken the win in Am. Sorry that we missed that, Ben, but we just had to take a look at what had happened there. Yeah, Dendy wins from Seville then. Then it's Sharon, Richards, Dixon, Brown, Hearn, Koifel, McNichol, Bain and Shipper. Then your top 3 in AMS was Ben P, Sherlock, Lazewski. Gudici was 15th overall. And then you got Reuters, Black, Law, Van der Veen and Mazan. Then Johnny Ashley and Mr. Holmes. Then you had Lintz, Bruce, Eisner, Jackson, Stant, Savchuk, Wagner, Kovacic, Fairweather, and of course Ash Knight disqualified much earlier on. But I think everyone has pretty much finished now. Yeah. So that is race over and plenty of action there.
Yeah, it was great to see Miles Dixon making up a lot of positions from where he had started. Stevie being in the chat saying that was the toughest race he's done. I can imagine there was a lot of pressure from Ben Brown and others, Miles Dixon included. It was a good one. I'll be curious to see how race 2 shakes up with perhaps maybe fewer drive-throughs, you would imagine, off the start anyway.
Well, you'd hope that they'd all learnt where they need to put their car for this one. Hiker says it's not as fun as I hoped, to be honest. And Dendy saying after the 2 contacts earlier in the lap, my car had damage. Non-Fat Jam, love the name by the way, finally got a decent result. Well done. So yeah, there was plenty to watch in that first race. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty more action in this one as well. I've just spotted that we have a nutter in our midst.
Uh-oh.
What can you see in the background of that shot?
A KTM?
Yes. I think, is that Wagner? I'm saying Wagner, or it might be Wagoner.
Wagon?
Wagon. Wagons roll. I'm pretty sure it's Wagner, so I just want to check. Yes, it is. Yes. What is wrong with them? Running a KTM. What is wrong? Anyway, Ash Knight is showing as being in the pits. So I wonder if Ash isn't going to take the start of this one after being disqualified in race 1.
Oh. Yeah, that's interesting. He's not even on the grid, yeah. Or sorry, he's not even on the... It's a bit of a pain. This might not be a night to remember then.
Oh, wow. I mean, do you spend all week writing these? Or do they just come to you?
A little from column A, a little from column B.
Dear. Well, Seville, I suppose, should be pretty much at home in Spain, right? Let's see whether Johnny can... Mine wasn't as good, was it?
I liked it. I liked it.
Thanks.
I was more trying to go like, would his name be like Jonathan then, or like Joe? Like what way today?
Oh, don't get me into changing people's name. I don't think you ever heard it, but in the first season of the Rookies, we had some complicated names, so I decided to give them British names. So there was a guy called Ricardo Rivera, who we called Richard Rivers. So we Britishized everything. No, Johnny Seville will lead us away. But remember last race, he made an awful start in comparison with Dendy. So let's see whether the same repeats itself, or maybe it is the cars getting away or not. But Hydra, who's going to win this one?
I'm going to say. I think I'll have to flip flop and go for Will Dendy this time. He was pretty dominant.
Well, Schipper gets a drive through, so I'm going to say that Yuval Sharon's going to win this one. I sense some fruitiness between the front two, but Dendy gets away better to the outside then. Seville certainly not hanging back this time around, and makes sure that he takes that position straight back from Will Dendy. We've got action in the background, but everyone seemingly through safe. Now there is a car off right at the back of the grid, but at the moment we're watching Seville defending from Dendy, because Dendy wants to get in front and then do the same as he did last race and defend hard and stay right up there. So he moves to the inside on the exit of the corner, bumps across the curb, but can't quite find a way through. So Johnny Seville leads from Will Dendy. It's Seville's turn to defend like crazy, like the Dendy had to do last time around. But apart from that, it is even Stevens at front as Dendy now goes for the old switcheroo. Now tries to get round the outside, climbing up the hill. This is one of the fastest corners on the circuit. Goes to the outside and Seville makes contact with him. Richards then collides with Seville. And Ben is trying to find his way through all of that at the same time. Richards hits Schipper. Schipper into the barrier. So we're going to see all kinds of carnage further back. I'm trying to jump back to it, but I can't get there fast enough, frankly.
Yeah, that was... it's still kicking off, it seems.
Yep. Oh, we've got Kovacic just driving into the wall by himself. Yeah, out front. So Will Dendy leads then from Yuval Sharon. Stephen Bain is in third.
My goodness. When I predicted that there was going to be 2 Porsches on the podium, I certainly wouldn't have guessed the third car would be a Ginetta.
No, but here comes Miles Dixon on Stephen Bain. Look, trying to get himself up into the action. So, maybe there could still be a Pulse Alpine at the front of this pack come the end of the race, because Miles Dixon will see this as an opportunity to really chop up through the fit. Oh, hang on. No, that's Jonathan Seville, sorry. I thought that was Dixon. I thought Seville had got really mashed up in that, but apparently not. So the Alpine continues on and is back up to third. Were you the same? Did you think that Seville was just gone?
No, because when Seville got hit, like Richards kind of bumped him back and into the racing line, we'll say, and kind of straightened him out. But I would have thought like he would be carrying some chunky amount of damage there. But yeah, no, I definitely was curious as to why Dixon wasn't further up. As SGR Amber points out in the chat, Seville got away with the half spin pretty well held, and that was true. A lot of chaos there at the end of that straight. We do have the panel of stewards who will review all those incidents after the race, of course. So justice will be brought down, and the criminals will be smitten with the divine justice. But otherwise,
from the shed.
Yeah.
We're on board with Johnny Ash, who's got Miles Dixon directly behind him, but Johnny looking forwards a little bit more in this race, right on the back of Craig Fairweather and Koifel directly in front of him. At the moment, Dendy is away and in the lead by 2.8. Seville within 0.6 of Sharon now. Bain less than a second further back. Brown only 0.8 back, and Hearn 0.3 back, and McNichol 0.8 back from him. So all to play for up there, but right now we see Johnny under pressure from Miles Dixon as they come down towards turn 1. And Ben, you'll be pleased to know that Johnny's livery is all in one piece so far.
Give it a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, we're only a few minutes into this race.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes left. Yeah, come on.
It normally only takes a few minutes, but normally only takes a few seconds. But no, it looks peachy at the moment, and Johnny has held that position as well. So let's go check on Sharon versus Seville. The Alpine, I think, is a little bit second-hand, but it's obviously still going pretty quickly, Hydra.
Yeah, it's he's somehow wrangling that car around the track with mighty pace. He's kind of left Bain a second and a half behind. When you were doing the impression of the the police earlier, I thought you were going for like a Batman Bane impression. It took me a second to cop that it wasn't, and I was like, "Oh right, we're doing the police again." Okay.
Yes. Yes. Meanwhile, Dendy did a 53.6 last time around, but Johnny Seville has the fastest lap with a 54.2. So that tells me that Dendy must have been off track at some point on that previous lap. But currently leads by 2.9 from Chiron. So Dendy with a chance to get away. Sam Roughton saying in chat, Bane in nosebleed zone here, lads. Well, you say that, but he was third earlier on. So if you want nosebleed, he was gushing at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking like that is a crazy pace. I'd be curious to see. I mean, geez. I mean, if you thought that first race was the toughest race he ever had, I think we're on track to surpass that again this time around.
Well, he's got Mr. Brown chasing him down. That rhymed as well, fully unintentionally. But Ben is looking to close up on Bane. Ben, outside chance for a podium in this one?
Yeah, if Chiron and Seville have a little bit of a to-do, potentially. But I think I'll be happy if I get past Steve. I'll be very happy with that, because the guys in front there in the 53s, and so I think we're sat in the 54s. So
you are
it's kind
indeed.
of more realistic.
Talking of Chiron and Seville, they're at it already. We just cut to them, and Seville was trying to jink out from behind to find a way through.
Steve's lost it.
Oh, so Bane has had a problem, and Brown is through. As you may have just heard Ben in the background go, "Oh, Bane's lost it," or something along those lines. I think that was a pretty good impression, actually, wasn't it, Hydra?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I thought Bane was going back up the inside then. But he's actually got to defend more from Hearn right now, so Bane will be getting sweaty again. But I'd like to congratulate Stephen Bane, because we're one race down and no drive-thrus yet, so fair play.
There's only 17 minutes left, so...
Ah, yes. But it does mean that he's completed at least one race tonight without a drive-through, so fantastic stuff. Now, Chiron is having to do what Dendy did last time around and do the old wiggly worm down the street. The streets? The straight. Or down the street, either way. Yeah, so Seville now right on the back of Yuval Chiron. Diesel TTV in chat saying happy to see a Camaro on track. Yes, McNichol is driving a Camaro. We'll try and pick up on it a little bit later on. And Amber there saying apparently that move caused Bane to age by approximately 40 years. Oh dear, that would put Bane in some pretty dangerous territory, I think, an extra 40 years.
Yeah, I wonder if what we're seeing now is what Bane's true performance is when he doesn't have a drive-through. Like the drive-throughs have been masking like this fucking stellar performance week in, week out, and we've just like it's just been lying under our noses, and yeah, when he's not being sent through the pits, he's actually fairly rapid.
Yeah, Fairweather trying to defend from Dixon, but Dixon with the old switcheroo there gets that one done. But Johnny now looking. Oh, he managed to avoid the wall. Your livery is still safe.
Yeah, livery check is good.
Oh God, it was close though.
I couldn't tell from hearing you describe it there, Adam, but it did sound close.
I'm not sure that I actually described it as opposed to just going. That's 2 weeks in a row that I've just made strange noises. Yeah, Cuddles Nuffles says incomprehensible noises. That's generally my commentary, and there's some more as Holmes gets very sideways. Can we please get cars 119 and 500 to race against each other, please?
I'm quickly checking to see who's in 119.
Sherlock on Holmes, isn't it?
Yeah, Sherlock on Holmes. Thank you very much. That one just dawned on me. I was like, oh, that one's Holmes. I'm sure I've heard of Sherlock. Oh, yeah, there's a Sherlock as well. Very good. Have we got a Watson? I don't think we have got a Watson. Have we got a Watson?
No, closest we have is a Wagner.
Yeah, Wagner will do. Yeah. That'll do. Meanwhile, we're back up with Chiron and Seville. So it seems this time we are collecting police and detectives tonight. It was transport last week. It was police and detectives this week. What with the old SWAT team on the go and all that kind of stuff as well. But Yuval Chiron defending hard from Johnny Seville. 14 minutes to go. Seville must be pretty fed up of looking at the backside of a Porsche.
I guess he could be. Now, unless he's willing to commit murder, in which case our detectives will investigate. But yeah, it's a tough one for Seville this time around. He was hoping, I'd imagine, that he would be able to kind of get past, but there's still 14 minutes left. I mean, is that back markers are approaching?
Yeah, very much a back marker. It's a black marker, in fact. It's Willie Black, and he gets right out of the way and lets them through as Seville looks to try and find a clean way through, because he does not. Oh, no! I thought he was going to go for it then, but Chiron then goes to the inside to get past Eisner. Eisner and Black now having a battle as well in the background there. So let's see what's going on there between those two. Here they come then. Hamish Eisner and then Willie Black in their magically delicious team is trying to find a way through. These guys are a long way back because they were involved in earlier incidents. I can also see there that Stephen Bain is under pressure from Hearn. Hearn to the inside into turn 1. Bain will hold it round the outside and then has the inside for turn 2. But what happens as they go into turn 3? They stay side by side. Can Bain hang it on all the way round the outside? Surely not. And no, he can't.
That Janetta just kind of getting pipped a little bit with that. Oh,
but they are back side by side. Bain sent it to the outside as we just switch back to the battle for second momentarily. That now means that Bain's up the inside for the next corner down the hill. Oh, he's gone very deep though, and that's grassy.
That was almost the move of the evening. That was... that came out of nowhere. He was just able to, like as you say, send it on the outside of turn 4, but just got a bit too eager going into that downhill section. So tricky to brake and turn at the same time without locking up and just drifting out wide.
Really is. It's sort of becoming difficult to know where to turn in this race right now, because here we've got Koiful and McNichol and Holmes and Dixon all together line astern, but at the same time we need to keep checking back on Chiron and Seville because that has connotations much further up the grid. We've also got a battle between Van der Veen and Reuters by the looks of it as well. We've then got Bruce and Sherlock and Richards all pretty close together, so all kinds of stuff kicking off here with 11.5 minutes left to go in this race then. Koiful leads this pack away. Chiron gets to within... Oh no, Seville's through. Seville's through past Chiron, so I'm going to see if we can pick up on a replay what happened. Yes, we can. So is it going to be through the chicane maybe? Yes, Sausage. And then that just puts him offline. Seville goes to the inside. And Chiron just runs out wide and Seville is through. So that's how second place changed, Hydra.
That's all it takes, just pressure mounting over a few laps and then running wide ever so slightly. Probably didn't even lose enough to open that door for Seville to walk on through.
Indeed. Well, back to this pack in the middle. I've just done one of my resets, by the way, because I was getting all a little bit carried away. So I took a breath for a second and calmed myself down. But the second that somebody sends it, it will be back to incomprehensible noises territory once again. As we see Koiful now defending hard from McNichol. They go up to the fast right-hander. Now that Camaro is going to be a lot quicker in a straight line, I would expect. So let's see whether McNichol does the big send into the hairpin. No, Koifel on the defence. Dixon in the background trying to find a way through. Dixon looks to the inside of the Camaro. Has to back out of it. This one's going to run on and on, I think, Hydra.
Yeah, Dixon still having that, applying that pressure as well. Sorry, I was just in a coughing fit there. It turns out Tesco's mixed roasted nuts ain't a great choice of snacks when you're streaming and commentating.
Well, now this is interesting. So there was a back marker in there, and now we've got McNichol and Dixon right together. In fact, Dixon now moves to the outside as they head down towards turn 1. Will Dixon get it done round the outside? Oh, hang on. That's Kovacic going straight on at turn 1, and that's probably distracted things. No, that's laggy, isn't it? Now, Ben, did you see any lag your end, or was it just a single car issue, do we think?
No lag for me.
Okay,
so.
good. Good. Let's hope that was just a momentary glitch then. But yeah, we definitely saw Kovacic going straight on at turn 1, and I think that probably distracted McNichol enough for Dixon to get through. But things were all a little bit crazy there, Mr. Knox.
Yeah, so it wasn't so much Kovacic running through turn 1 as much as it was the Thunder rolling through turn 1. Yeah, as we have a drive-through for Law coming in down in P26.
Oh, he fits perfectly in with our police and detectives theme.
He does.
Yeah, very good. So we've got Sherlock and Holmes. We've got Law. Yeah. It's good.
I was trying to think, what's the what's the makeshift? Is it a shift, or what's the thing for the like a makeshift weapon? What to do? Like the name escapes me.
Well, like a shiv, Hydra.
Shiv. There we go. Okay.
This is
I
what I'm
added
here
a
for,
T.
by the way. This is what I'm here.
Yeah.
I suppose we should ask how you're getting on, Ben. How are you getting on?
Got a little bit lonely, to be honest, at the minute. It's going all right. I put a bit more wing on this time, and the tyres haven't destroyed themselves, so it's a lot more enjoyable, this race.
Okay, very good.
But quiet.
Yeah, well, Dendy leads from Seville by 6.9, so I think Dendy's in good territory there. Chironi's third, Brown's fourth, then we've got Hearn, Bain, Koifel, Dixon, McNichol and Holmes is your top 10. Craig Fairweather leads the AMS this time around. Johnny Ashley is then in 12th overall. Then you've got Mazan, Lizevsky, Wagner, Lintz, Van der Veen, Reuters and Sherlock, and a nice twitch from Ben live on stream. A twitch on Twitch.
Showing off for the cameras.
Very good. Well, Johnny gets himself up past Fairweather and into 11th. We'll now look to see if there's anything that he can do about Holmes in 10th.
I would say doubtful, just based on like how far ahead on the track Holmes is with a minute or it's 6 minutes left on the clock. Never mind. Good say. There's still plenty of time. I'm sure there's a few more surprises up the sleeve of this track tonight.
Well, that's gone well. Very good. Meanwhile, we look from the rear wing of Miles Dixon's Pulse Sim Sport car, because he's now 7th, but he's got Koifel and McNichol right behind. So that Alpine is running pretty well in 7th and made places up yet again this race, but that tricky qualifying for Miles has really put paid to a really strong showing tonight.
Yeah, I mean it's always great to watch those drivers kind of coming up through the pack and like kind of getting those moves done cleanly and kind of making their way back up towards kind of where they should have been. But I can't help but think that you could have been looking at two Alpines on the podium for race 1 or race 2 had he qualified a bit higher up.
He said that his pace isn't great at the moment. He was 55.995 last time around, whereas his teammate Johnny Seville did a 54.1. So yeah, maybe just not quite on the pace of his Pulse teammate tonight. Dendy has maintained the gap at 6.3, but in fact it's come down a little bit because it was at 6.9, but it's just come down a little bit. But Dendy, no doubt, just managing his tyres and managing it through to the end. But also the question is just how much damage do we think Seville will be carrying from that crash on lap 1?
Yeah, I mean that's I was actually gonna say, like, you know, with the likes of Dixon and stuff, like it's hard to say what level of damage the rest of the pack is carrying, considering what we saw at the on the back straight. But yeah, for Seville, it's interesting. I wonder, like, because it looked like a sizable shunt to correct him back up into the racing line. But yeah, I mean, you certainly couldn't tell from his pace. He's just absolutely, like, I mean, what a recovery drive to get back up to P2, let alone do so with like plenty of time to spare.
Indeed. Yeah, 3.5 minutes left to go then. And all to play for through the pack. I think the front two are pretty settled now. In fact, the front three, front four maybe. But Herner's got Bain not too far behind him, so we'll keep an eye on that one. And then Dixon has McNichol and Koifel. Oh, but there's the battle, McNichol versus Koifel. So McNichol has got past in the Camaro, but that AMG will be looking for a way back past. So McNichol gets through then, and will now be defending as they come down the hill. You'd expect the AMG Hydra to be a lot better through the corners than the Camaro.
Yeah, I think so. I'm actually not too familiar with the how the Camaro performs, but like seeing that it's just a big honking chunk of American muscle, I would imagine the straights is where that kind of car shines. But yeah, it's you'd certainly think the Koifel would have a chance at definitely a move or two before the race is done.
Ben, you've driven the Camaro before, haven't you?
Yeah, briefly, yes. Yeah, it's actually not bad in the corners. It's pretty good on the brakes as well, actually.
Okay.
It's slower than the Merc, I think, or around the same down the straights. That might be a bit quicker.
Well,
But,
some strange lines there. McNichol bumping across the curb whilst Koifel runs out a bit wide. So they both kind of boo-booed in different ways there, and they've ended up in pretty much the same position that they were beforehand. So McNichol is defending hard from Koifel as they come out onto the start-finish straight. And we'll now see that drag race between the two and see who is faster in a straight line. So in the tow, the AMG getting closer and closer. We'll look for a move into turn one. Nicely positioned from Koifel, but runs a bit deep. So McNichol will now try to switch back. There is contact and McNichol touches the gravel, but Koifel continues on. McNichol doesn't lose as much time as you'd expect, and you've got Holmes in the background that is, wait for it, homing in on this battle.
Brilliant, love it. Yeah, it was unfortunate kind of coming together there with McNichol kind of losing out more. Didn't look to be too much in it, but just enough to chuck him offline. But yeah, no, like I said, like there's a few more twists in this race yet, and I think with only a minute left, I wonder, are we going to get a 13th lap? Could you check how far Will Dendy is on the track?
I would imagine that we will. He's fairly chunkily into the final sector here. Unless, of course, he comes out the final corner with only a couple of seconds left. And
I think this could be close.
He might just give it a lift off the throttle and just finish it here and then.
I know.
He's got 5.5 seconds gap. But no, I think it's, yeah, So he does go through for another one. So same number of laps as last time around then. We move on to the final lap of the race just before the clock ticks over to 0. Dendy leads by 5.6 from Seville. Then Yuval Sharon in third. Ben Brown fourth. Ben, you're under a little bit of pressure now.
I didn't really want the extra lap, to be honest.
Well, Ben will now have to keep an eye on that Porsche behind. So at the moment we've got 2 Porsches on the podium. Porsches sit first, third and fifth as we stand. And this is probably the battle for us to be watching right now. Although Koifel and McNichol are still going at it as well. So all kinds of stuff